Nubreed, Global Truth. What's good, everybody? It's your brother Nubreed coming through with another live stream. Peace and blessings to everybody joining. Make sure y'all pound that like button on your way in. We got a very interesting subject matter. Welcome back to the court of public opinion. That's right. I see Cynthia Hatley in the building. Alonzo. KC Moto is in the house. Kia's in the building. Y'all make sure y'all thumb the video up on your way in. I see a Hava's in the house. Yes, indeed. What's going on, AJ? Shout out to all the exclusive members. Shout out to all the moderators. Y'all been holding it down. Y'all been doing a phenomenal job. I do understand that. I do recognize that we've been ruffling a lot of feathers in certain spaces, and y'all been really on y'all's due diligence. So shout out to you all. King Connects in the building. Kiki's in the building. She said, what up, though? What's happening? Now, welcome to the court of public opinion. And, you know, I want to really break some things down. As you all know, the P.Diddy trial has caused the media firestorm. It's been a lot going on. It's been a lot of talks. You got an entire community that stand behind Sean Combs, and they are vouching as well as revering. And I would go as far as to say they're celebrating Combs for beating racketeering, RICO charges and so forth, which, you know, at the end of the day, he was tried by a jury of his peers. And, you know, if he beat the major charges, it kind of is what it is. But then you have some individuals who seem to believe that Sean Combs have done no wrong, as if he's this angelic being who deserves, you know, I don't know, some sort of worship or reverence, right? You have those individuals. You have those people who they're treating Sean Combs like he's some type of revolutionary. And they're pretty much propagating him as some type of symbol of Black men, right? As if he represents us as a whole. So I started digging, doing some research. I used ChatGPT, and I had some interesting questions for ChatGPT, and y'all going to be shocked to find out what it had to say about such individuals who promote Sean Combs as if he's some sort of revolutionary or he deserves freedom, right? As well as R.Kelly, because now R.Kelly is brought up in the conversation because there's a lot of similarities to their cases. And now the conversation is on the table. Should R.Kelly also be freed? And should he be back on the streets based on the Sean Combs outcome, based on that verdict, right? Now, there's one content creator who is extremely, I would say, he's extremely in support of people from the likes of R.Kelly as well as P.Diddy. And, you know, this guy, listen, I'm going to have to go there with this guy. You know, let me just put it out here. This guy is completely intellectually, you know, inferior to me. You know, he's just a total half-wit, a numbskull. And, you know, this guy that I'm talking about, you know, this guy has put out a whole lot of content on me for months after months after months. And, you know, nonetheless, listen, people are going to follow who they want to follow. People are going to support who they're going to support. Really, this is about the court of public opinion, what we label acceptable and unacceptable. That's what it's all about, right? So I asked ChatGPT a few questions about this YouTuber's outlook on the whole situation based on what the YouTuber said, word for word, verbatim, out of their mouth, right? There's no slander, there's no injections, there's no any of that. We're going to go directly to what this person said and what ChatGPT had to say about it. Just interesting. We know, look, ChatGPT, we just having fun with this. We know that ChatGPT has its biases. You know, if you were to ask one-sided questions to ChatGPT, it's going to tell you what you want to hear because it's programmed to do that. So what I did was I made sure that all the questions that I put in ChatGPT were completely unbiased, not going into any direction, but just presenting the evidence necessary so ChatGPT can do what it does, right? And first and foremost, this person says that P.Diddy and R.Kelly did nothing wrong.
He ain't do anything wrong, guys.
Hold on, let's get it from the beginning.
If we could bring up your file, some of y'all would leave the country. We gotta free R. Kelly, bro. Free R. Kelly, man. Free that man. Free Diddy, because Diddy didn't do nothing wrong in this case. He ain't do anything wrong, guys. People are just literally having a public lynching right now because obviously he's a man to be hated.
Now, for a person to jump out on a limb and say that P. Diddy and R. Kelly didn't do nothing wrong, right? Nothing wrong. P. Diddy and R. Kelly did nothing wrong. Now, listen, even the jury of his peers, they pretty much seen that he done something wrong. There's people who love P. Diddy for what he's done to the culture or for the culture, and as well as R. Kelly. And even them, even those jurors had to, you know, find him guilty of something obvious for obvious reasons, right? And you know, look, y'all know some of the egregious things that P. Diddy have done. Y'all know some of the actions he done. Like, let's take it outside of a court of law, right? Let's take it outside of the court of law, and let's just bring this to the laws of God. A man shouldn't be laying with another man. This man has been taking women and having male prostitutes come through and do unthinkable and unspeakable hideous acts to these women so we can get his rocks off while practicing thelema and having men excrete bodily fluids on women while they rub themselves in it and licking specimens off of, you know, in God's laws, he done a lot wrong. So when a man comes out and says that he did nothing wrong, that's something that you really gotta question. When somebody says something like that, you really gotta look at what's going on here. Yeah. And so what did I ask Chat GPT here? And everybody get the thumbs up because this is definitely for educational purposes. This is not about this clown of a content creator. I really want you to see the type of spirit that's on this planet right now and the people who really vouch for these individuals, the type of mentalities that they have towards these individuals, right? Now, a YouTuber has been saying R. Kelly should be freed because he did nothing wrong and that he is a G, meaning he should be celebrated and respected for how he dealt with women. Is this true? Now, before I go to that, let me play the footage so you can understand that this person actually said these things and this is not something that's made up.
It's sad. Most of you brothers, you know how to find hoes, but you don't know how to find virgins. Virgins, you have to find them when they're young. Find them when they're young. Find them when they're young. You have to find them before they get. In order to do that, you got to pretty much talk to women. They're all over the place. You see young ladies every fucking day. Problem is, you are scared of the system. You scared. And, let me bring up. A lot of times, people are calling R. Kelly pedophile. R. Kelly this. R. Kelly's a G. R. Kelly's a G. R. Kelly's a G. R. Kelly is one of the realest dudes that are out there when it comes to dealing with women. He might not be on the righteous side in terms of wifing women up and taking care of a family and doing all of that other stuff.
So as you can see, that is proof of what this individual said, right? so now when you see the question that I preferenced, that I asked ChatGPT, y'all know that it is based on fact. This is based on fact, substantial evidence of this person saying, hey, R. Kelly is a G. R. Kelly, you guys are scared of the system. That's why y'all can't get virgins, because y'all scared of the system. And that's pretty much saying, look, y'all scared to deal with underage females, underage girls. That's what he's saying. You are afraid to deal with underage girls, so y'all can't get virgins. This is what this man said on his platform. Now let's see what ChatGPT had to say about that, because the question is, should R. Kelly be freed? Because this person said R. Kelly did nothing wrong. And he actually said he's a G, meaning he should be celebrated and respected for how he dealt with women. That's what he said. Listen to what this says. It says, no, it's not true that R. Kelly did nothing wrong or deserves to be celebrated as a quote unquote G. Multiple felony convictions in 2021. Kelly was convicted in New York of racketeering, trafficking under the RICO Mann Act, sentenced to 30 years in prison. A federal appeals court affirmed this conviction February 2025. In 2022, he was additionally convicted in Chicago of producing child pornography. Listen, he was convicted in Chicago of producing child pornography and enticing minors. Received a 20-year sentence. The U.S. Supreme Court declined to hear his appeal in June 2025. So R. Kelly was found guilty of producing child porn. And you have an individual online celebrating R. Kelly, saying that he did nothing wrong. Now, he was found guilty in a court of law. And you have this same creator claiming that YouTube demonetized him because he was speaking truth. No, they demonetized your video on that subject because you were spreading misinformation, because you were making up conspiracies. He was found guilty of this. But you say he did nothing wrong, right? Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is all for the court of public opinion. All I'm doing is bringing you facts. And ladies and gentlemen, I try to fall back. I know that this person is intellectually inferior to me, so I ignore this individual a lot of the times, but this person continues to gaslight. This person continues to steal my titles, word for word, steals my titles, just to try to undermine my message. So look, I try to leave this guy alone. He won't let up, so we got to put this guy back in his place once again, right? Now, ChatGPT in this instance is just bringing up facts. This is not an emotional thing. This is not something that's one-sided. I'm not trying to bring biases or anything. Appeals exhausted. It says a federal appeal panel, Second Circuit, and eventually the Supreme Court all rejected his appeals, affirming both the New York and Chicago convictions, serving a combined 50-year sentence with overlapping sentencing. His release date is projected for December 2045. So we're talking about a man who was putting out child pornography. Yes. What the evidence shows? Prosecutors presented evidence that R. Kelly abused his fame for over 25 years to manipulate, coerce, and have sex with underage girls and young women. We're talking about a man who has been in outright sin for 25 years straight, doing the unspeakable, doing the most horrendous things that they can do. We're talking about this individual been living wicked for 25 years. And then you have this.
Keep it official. Free R. Kelly. That man is innocent. Free that man. That man didn't do nothing, bro. Them young ladies got up on camera, on Gayle King, and basically said that their mom said, look, you go with that guy, we're gonna take them photos. Their dad said that. You take those, we're gonna take your photos, we're gonna put it out there, them naked photos, we're gonna destroy that man, because if he don't send us some money, we gonna get paid.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's a lie. He has no evidence, no facts, nothing to substantiate those claims. It just seems to me like this person is trying to protect a PDF file. R. Kelly is guilty. As simple as that. R. Kelly, we're not claiming R. Kelly. R. Kelly is another industry puppet. And see, a lot of these tethers, they want R. Kelly and P.Diddy and these individuals to represent us. I'm here to tell you, no, that's not happening, right? Not on my watch. They're not doing that. So let's go back here. The evidence. So now we got judges and jurors that concluded that he orchestrated a criminal enterprise involving force, payments, fraud to conceal his actions. On your statement, he did nothing wrong. He is a G, should be celebrated for how he dealt with women. These claims have no basis in fact. Kelly's guilt has been determined and upheld in multiple courts at the highest level beyond reasonable doubt. He is convicted of serious crimes involving child exploitation, trafficking, and pornography production. So he wasn't just dealing with jits. They have proof. They have the videos. They have the files. They have the production of the videos. Now, I had more questions for ChatGPT. My question is, should people be concerned with someone like this, a YouTuber, spreading such a message? It's a simple question. Should somebody be concerned with it, right? And it reads, watch this, y'all. It says, yes, people should absolutely be concerned when someone with a platform like a YouTuber spread false or harmful messages defending convicted sexual predators like R. Kelly. Y'all ready for the here's why? And if you are, listen, hit the like button. Hit the like button. Get the message out there. Make sure you share. Number one, it normalizes abuse. Claiming R. Kelly did nothing wrong minimalizes survivors' trauma, the seriousness of trafficking and child exploitation, the need for accountability in powerful figures. All right, so do you all see why this is so absolutely problematic? How many of you all agree with what ChatGPT is saying in this instance, based on the questions that were presented? Let me know by a show of ones in the chat. Make sure y'all nothing short of interactive. I need y'all to participate. Right? can we all say it's safe to say that pushing this type of rhetoric is completely dangerous, right? Pushing misinformation, all these falsehoods that were put out, it is extremely dangerous to the listeners. Why? Because it minimalizes the abuse, the seriousness of it. And these creators, if that's what you want to call them, these contention creators, they seem to be very the word would be unhinged, and they seem to be very careless when it comes to real victims. It seems like they don't care about the victims when they putting out such deplorable material. And that should raise a lot of red flags, right? That should raise a lot of red flags. Now, I'm going to continue here. It also goes on to say influence on young viewers. It can curve public opinion, behavior, and moral standards. See, a fan or follower might wrongfully believe if R. Kelly was innocent or a G, then maybe his actions weren't that bad. This is especially dangerous for teens and young adults still forming their understanding or consent boundaries and justice. Exactly. That's why these type of people should not be platformed, because the message they're spreading is very immoral, and you have impressionable minds out there who can easily fall into idolizing these fallen moguls as well as these fallen entertainers, rappers, and so forth, musicians, and so forth. They can be swayed by what their actions were, right? Number 3, it undermines the legal system. Repeatedly saying someone is innocent despite multiple court convictions, appeals, and extensive evidence encourages conspiracy thinking and distrust in legal systems, right? Often without facts. Also, it silences the victims. It can traumatize them, discourage future victims from reporting abuse, contribute to grape culture that blames victims or ignores their voices. Now, ladies and gentlemen, does this sound like a person who cares about the victims? Does this sound like an individual who cares about the victims?
It's sad. Most of you brothers, you know how to find hoes, but you don't know how to find virgins. Virgins, you have to find them when they're young. Find them when they're young. Find them when they're young. You have to find them before they get. In order to do that, you got to pretty much talk to women. They're all over the place. You see young ladies every day. Problem is, you are scared of the system. You scared. And, let me bring a lot of times, people are calling R. Kelly pedophile, R. Kelly this. R. Kelly's a G. R. Kelly's a G. R. Kelly's a G. R. Kelly is one of the realest dudes that are out there when it comes to dealing with women. He might not.
See? So, a person who was distributing child pornography, he's saying that he's not a PDF file and that he's a G, and that he should be revered for how he dealt with women. That's what this individual said. Now, does that sound like a person who cares about what the victims went through? I would say no, right? Now, there's more. Now, I asked a few questions. It says, in summary, it's a serious concern. This message isn't just ignorant, it's dangerous. And allowing it to spread without response helps sustain a culture that protects predators and silences victims. Public figures, especially those with young audience, should be held to a higher standard. Now, would it appear that YouTube agrees with the behavior he is defending? It says if YouTube allows that kind of content to stay up without moderation or consequences, then yes, it can absolutely appear like YouTube is complicit or at least indifferent. Let's break it down. Because we're going to talk about this. We're going to go in. We had certain questions for ChatGPT because people like to use ChatGPT to fit their own narratives instead of just asking the important questions. Because I would say that this is the important questions here. How many of y'all agree, show of ones, that these are some important questions being asked right now? And this is lifting the veil and bringing what's in the dark to the light. All right. And of course, let me see. We're not going to go too deep into, the YouTube issue, but we're going to skip down a little bit. Let's go into public perception. Most viewers aren't checking internal logic if they see offensive content staying up, the algorithm pushing it, and so forth. But let's continue. Let's get to the nitty gritty. I went on to kind of like correct my question, right? Listen. Let me correct this for y'all. Would it appear that the YouTuber agrees with the behavior he's defending? That's the question. Would it appear that the YouTuber who made such egregious statements, would it appear like that person agrees with what he's defending? Y'all ready? All right, let's see what it says. Listen to what ChatGPT had to say. Oh, thank you for the clarification. Yes, it absolutely appears that the YouTuber agrees with the behavior R.Kelly was convicted of, based on how they're defending him. If someone says R.Kelly did nothing wrong, he's a G, he should be celebrated, or on how he dealt with women, then they are minimalizing or denying child exploitation, trafficking, abuse of power, the pain and trauma of survivors. Even if they don't directly say, I support abuse, the message implicitly supports R. Kelly's conduct because they're praising a man whose entire public downfall is based on documented, proven criminal abuse of women and girls. I mean, hey, we in the public court of public opinion. It goes on to say intent versus impact. Even if the YouTuber claims they just like R. Kelly's music or believe in redemption, then why they deny the charges, celebrate his behavior, mock and ignore the survivors. Bottom line, yes, it does appear the YouTuber agrees with or excuses R. Kelly abusive behavior, especially if they speak proudly of it or frame it as something to admire. And that's a serious issue, morally and socially. Wow. Now I had another question. Now I'm going to skip all of this. I got another question. And we're going to get to it because I asked ChatGPT a few more things. I asked them a few more things, right? I also went in to ask if a YouTuber, no, it goes, what would be the motives of them defending his actions? What would be the motives of him defending R. Kelly's actions? Y'all ready for this? By show of ones in the chat, flame emojis. Y'all ready for what ChatGPT had to say? Let's get to it. And the reason why I'm telling y'all to participate in the chat, because we need more comments. We need y'all to really participate so they can send a notification out. So we're gonna need y'all's participation here. All right, so y'all ready? Listen to what they had to say. It says, if a YouTuber is not just defending R. Kelly's innocence, but specifically defending his actions, meaning the behavior he's been convicted for, the motives are much more darker and more revealing. Here's a breakdown of likely motives: personal identification with predatory behavior. Some men, especially in toxic masculinity spaces, see R. Kelly's action as a symbol of dominance over women, game or player status taken to the extreme, a rejection of modern consent. Now, this is exactly what that sounds like to me when I hear this. When I hear this, this is what I think of.
It's sad. Most of you brothers, you know how to find hoes, but you don't know how to find virgins. Virgins, you have to find them when they're young. Find them when they're young. Find them when they're young. You have to find them before they get. In order to do that, you gotta pretty much talk to women. They're all over the place. You see young ladies every day. Problem is, you are scared of the system. You scared. And you know, let me bring a lot of times people are calling R. Kelly pedophile. R. Kelly this. R. Kelly's a G. R. Kelly's a G. R. Kelly's a G.
So he said that you guys are scared of the system. So he's clearly rebellious towards the system. Like, let me tell y'all this right now. This guy should be deplatformed. He definitely should be deplatformed. This is sick. And anybody who finds this normal, what he's talking about, you have drank the Kool-Aid. You've officially drank the Kool-Aid here. And you know, look, we're just having court right now. That's what we're doing. We're having court based on the evidence. That's all. And did he not do all these things? I didn't even put all of that into ChatGPT, and it figured it out. It says a symbol of dominance over women, game or player status taken to the extreme, a rejection of modern consent. And it says they may secretly or openly admire his ability to exploit women, especially if they have similar thought hidden tendencies. This is why you gotta, protect yourselves, brothers and sisters. Protect your family from these type of individuals. Keep them far away. Right? It says, number 2, normalizing abuse for their own protection. In some cases, people defend predators because they engage in similar behavior themselves. Shh. They want to desensitize the public to those actions. They fear accountability and want to shift public morals. It must be crazy to live in fear of who you are because of some of the actions you may have done. And that would explain why he's projecting this way.
Keep it official. Free R. Kelly. That man is innocent. Free that man. That man didn't do nothing, bro. Them young ladies got up on camera.
Or this one.
If we could bring up your file, some of y'all would leave the country.
That's projection. If we can bring up your file, some of you all will leave the country. That's projection.
We got to free R. Kelly, bro.
He ain't talking about freeing no political prisoners. This man ain't talking about freeing, Muammar Gaddafi. None, free Asada Shakur, get her off the FBI list. He said, no, listen, y'all. He said to the black community, no, y'all, we gotta free R. Kelly. We gotta free R. Kelly. I've never heard this individual talk about political prisoners who locked up for being, a voice of the people. I just thought I would bring that out. Hold on, let's go back to ChatGPT. It goes on to say, wow. It says defending R. Kelly is a smokescreen to protect themselves or their circle. Rebellion against the system. The legal system is seen as corrupt. It says for some, especially in conspiracy or anti-woke spaces. Accusations against black men are viewed as systematic targeting. Defending R. Kelly becomes part of the fighting the machine. I mean, here's the thing. Yes, there is black men who are systematically targeted. That's a fact. But R. Kelly's not one of them. R. Kelly was able to get away with what he got away with for 25 long years. He paid off a lot of people just like Diddy. These are individuals who had position of power and they were able to insulate their horrendous actions. And they finally got caught and justice was served. The people who really are systematically targeted is those who really have a voice, those who are trying to free the people. Real freedom fighters are the ones who are targeted via COINTELPRO, via various agencies, and by all means, they try to neutralize truth. They send their agents, they do all of that to try to neutralize truth. Those are the people who are systematically targeted. They let the creeps and weirdos run free in the streets because they know that they're a detriment to our community. So they let them get away with these type of things for decades until Satan is ready to collect. All right. So let's be clear about that. It also says profiting for controversy. Extreme defense or known predators generate massive outrage, attract clicks, views, and donations, build a brand as a voice others are too scared to be. Even if they don't fully believe what they're saying, the money and fame motivates them to defend the indefensible. And, you know, that's a possibility too, that this individual will be saying these things to garner some type of audience, right? It goes on to say, willful ignorance and cognitive dissonance. For diehard fans or those stuck in nostalgia, they can't accept that someone they idolize is a damn monster. To preserve their worldview, they rewrite reality. Defending his actions become a psychological defense mechanism. Hidden trauma. Here's another one I believe is very, very much real. Very, very much real in this situation. Hidden trauma or misogyny. Sometimes people with unresolved personal issues harbor deep resentment towards women. See victim blaming as justified. Glorify abusers as symbol of male power. Conclusion. A red flag of deeper misogyny. Defending R. Kelly's action isn't just ignorant, it's a red flag of deeper misogyny, an attempt to manipulate public perception, a strategy for clout, profit, or avoiding personal accountability. Now I went on and I asked ChatGPT some more questions. Y'all ready? Because we just gonna go in at this point. I just wanted to show you, what ChatGPT had to say about people who say R. Kelly should be freed. Right? Now, I asked this something else. And we don't give it nothing but the facts. So the question is, y'all, what's the verdict? I say the verdict is guilty. Guilty. Doom, 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 doom. Doom, 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 doom. We gotta have the court music. Guilty. The verdict reads, on all counts of platform deception, harboring a weirdo like R. Kelly, promoting we didn't get to that part yet. We gonna go there. Promoting inordinate affections. I say guilty. And the question is, should R. Kelly be freed, y'all? That's the question I got. Yeah, we need the Law and Order intro music right now. Ladies and gentlemen, should R. Kelly be freed? By show of ones, hell no. By show of twos, R. Kelly, yeah, he didn't do nothing wrong. Show of ones is a hell no. Show of twos, you think he should be freed. Let me see what y'all saying. Oh man, public opinion say that man is guilty. And you know what? I agree, because they had evidence of this man producing child pornography. That's what really got him. That's what really got him like over 20 years. He's been doing this stuff for 25 years. Now, I asked it some more questions because I was having fun with ChatGPT and said, you know what? Let me ask it some more questions about this particular YouTuber. Let me ask it a couple more questions. Let me show y'all what I had to ask it next. Let's see, share here. I went and asked it about sibling relationships. Now, this time I shared the transcript. I shared the actual transcript of what this YouTuber said, right? So it wasn't just me making up anything. I used the transcript to ask my follow-up questions. And listen, I have the transcript right here in real time, but I'm going to also do y'all a favor and play what the person said so you can see what the transcript is all about, right? And I asked it about sibling relationships, incest, because I'm alleging that this creator is promoting incest on their platform as well. And I'm going to show y'all what ChatGPT had to say about the rhetoric that they put out there. Watch this now. This is what they said.
Not brothers and sisters. Don't get along. And I got a revelation.
Hold on, let's go back. Hold on, what's up with the sound? I don't know why it just went out like that. One moment.
Not brothers and sisters. Get along. And I got a revelation for you just in case you don't know this. If you have different fathers, you come from different seeds, different trees. That's why you and your brothers don't get along. And I got a revelation for you just in case you don't know this. If you and your siblings don't share the same father, you are not brothers and sisters. Get along. And I got a revelation for you just in case you don't know this. If you and your siblings don't share the same father, you are not brothers and sisters. Don't get along. And I got a revelation for you just in case you don't know this. If you and your siblings don't share the same father, you are not brothers and sisters. Uh-oh! Uh-oh! Uh-oh. If you and your brother and sister, your siblings that came from your mom's womb, if y'all don't share the same father, you're not technically brothers and sisters. You're not. See, I don't know what anybody else taught you, but if you don't come from the same seed, you're not brothers and sisters. Basically, if you're, let me show you how sick this is and how serious this is, fam, at the same time. If your father, right, let's say your father impregnated your mom to have you, and then another man impregnated your mom and had a sister, technically, that other female is not even blood related to you. Which means, technically, you can date that other person. Technically.
All right. So as you can see, this individual came right out and said he got a revelation from God that if y'all not related, pardon me, that if y'all got different fathers, y'all not related and y'all can date. Yeah, he's talking about dating, He also goes on to say that you can marry your brother and your sister. He's trying to teach you all that your brother and sister ain't your brother and sister if they have different dads. But yeah, I put the transcript in. I put the full transcript in of what he said. Listen, let's see what ChatGPT had to say. Now, for the record, the reason why I'm going to ChatGPT is because, you know, I had a YouTuber, this particular YouTuber that keeps trolling, gaslighting. He went to ChatGPT, asking it all kind of just erroneous questions to try to uh, I guess somehow uphold his ego or whatever the case is, because he's just a lonely guy who needs somebody to reaffirm and approve his ego. He needs, some people, look, this is why ChatGPT could be the devil, because you got lonely people out there that ask ChatGPT questions with biases to try to appeal their ego or make them feel correct in situations where they're dead wrong. And then, you got people actually serving ChatGPT like it's a god. Like, they talking to ChatGPT like they would talk to the Most High to make them feel good about themselves, right? So you got these type of individuals, right? So what I'm doing is showing you how to properly use ChatGPT with just bringing facts, just putting the facts there, right? So ChatGPT can break it down how it's broke down just based on the facts. Somebody said to see religious people talking to AI is crazy. I'm not a religious person, so you got the wrong person. Who told you I was a religious person? And if I'm religious, you shouldn't even be over here. I don't deal with religious people. Why? I wouldn't even be over here watching me if I was religious, because religious people are full of it. All right. You talking to somebody who knows history, biblical history. That doesn't make me religious. Now, with that being said, now I just put in a transcript and basically asked ChatGPT a question. That says a YouTuber says that if a mother bears two children by two different fathers, technically those children can have an intimate relationship. Would that be considered incest? Here's the transcript. And then I give the transcript. It says the claim this YouTuber is making is not only medically and legally false, but also socially irresponsible and potentially dangerous. Here's a breakdown of why this argument is completely incorrect. Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for this? It says, yes, they are half siblings. This is recognized in biology law and ethnic across nearly every society. A child inherits 50% of their DNA from their mother and the other 50% from their father. Two children with the same mother and different fathers still share approximately 25% of their DNA on average. Question: is it incest if half siblings are intimate or married? Yes. It is still considered incest. Most legal systems prohibit sexual or romantic relationships between half siblings, whether they share a mother or a father. And also, the Bible validates this too. The Bible says that you're not supposed to deal with your sibling if it be by the child of the mother or the father. And y'all can share that in the chat. The Bible says this exact same thing, right? So I will agree with ChatGPT on this. If you all agree, put a 1 in the chat if y'all agree with what ChatGPT is saying here. It also goes on to say, Incest laws usually define siblings as any children sharing one biological parent. It is not only legally prohibited in many jurisdictions, but also morally and socially taboo. Yeah, well, I'm convinced that this nasty nigga don't care about the law. I'm convinced that any times it comes to anything that skews morality in regards to sexuality, this nigga don't care about the law, bro. I'm convinced. I'm completely convinced that he don't give a damn. But anyway, let's proceed. Why is this type of misinformation harmful? It spreads falsehoods that undermine basic understanding of family relationships. It can encourage inappropriate, illegal, or abusive behavior, especially if young viewers take that ish serious. It disrespects real families and causes confusion or emotional harm, particularly among people in blended families. It uses sensationalism for views while exploiting ignorance or controversy. This is why we need the word. But they will call this religious right here because we go into the Bible. They will call this religious. Leviticus 8, the nakedness of thy father's wife shall thou not uncover. It is thy father's nakedness, thy nakedness of thy sister, thy daughter of thy father, or daughter of thy mother, whether she be born. That means it don't matter, even if she born in a distant land. You are not supposed to uncover the nakedness of the daughter of your mother's child, or your father's, your siblings. Absolutely prohibited. It says, at home or born abroad, even their nakedness thou shalt not cover. Meaning, even if your brother and sister ain't in your household, you're not supposed to do that. Not supposed to do that. It's disgusting. And now you got this individual all on social media campaigning for P.Diddy, campaigning for R.Kelly. He can't stop campaigning for them. It's a sick-minded individual, y'all. Sick. Now, it says what the YouTuber is really saying is the YouTuber is essentially pushing an idea that only paternal DNA defines siblinghood, which is incorrect, both scientifically and legally. That's a deeply flawed and dangerous ideology rooted in patriarchy and biological reductivism. Should people be concerned about a message like this? ChatGPT says absolutely. Now, mind you, ladies and gentlemen, I shared the transcript of what the person said. A person spreading these views might influence young, confused, or vulnerable audiences. Platforms like YouTube must ensure this type of misinformation and harmful rhetoric is not promoted. But guess what? It's going to take you, the viewers, to shut this individual down. It's going to take you, the viewers. It's going to take y'all to be like, yo, we got to put an end to this wickedness. That's what it really boils down to. The viewers. Final word on this. Children with the same mothers or but different fathers are siblings. Intimacy between them is incest. And encouraging such relationships is irresponsible, inaccurate, and potentially criminal in many places. Criminal. This guy saying that publicly on his platform is criminal in many places. Yeah. So he's actually committing a crime saying that stuff. Yeah, and he gains subscribers in the audience because he always flips the script and he plays victim. with his new audience. He flips the script and plays victim with his new audience. That's his whole MO. But see, instead of doing all of the gaslighting subliminals, I go right at his neck with truth. I go directly, and listen, I'm going right out with what's true and what's not. So you can understand this individual is a snake and a deceiver, right? Now, let's continue. I asked it another question. I said, what would be the motive of this YouTuber spreading such information? It says there are several possible motives behind a YouTuber who would spread such disturbing and false information. These motives aren't always conscious or admitted by the person, but they often fall into one or more of the following categories. Watch this. Shock value for views. Controversy drives engagement. Outrageous or taboo statements trigger comments, shares, and reactions. The algorithm rewards watch time and interactions, not truth. The more people argue in the comments or stay to hear what's next, the more the video gets promoted. Motive. If I say something while I go viral, doesn't matter if it's wrong. It says ego and false authority. Some influencers want to appear deep or woke by presenting ideas that contradict mainstream knowledge. Yep, that's real talk. By claiming I got a revelation, no one told you this before. They position themselves as an enlightened teacher, even if the information is ignorant and dangerous as shit. And that's what he do. Even if the information is some straight up nonsense. Just to seem like they're more intelligent than everybody else, which this dude is an idiot, a complete imbecile. I mean, I'm talking about this guy is so stupid. He doesn't, I mean, really, he's not even on my level, not even nowhere near on my level intellectually. He's inferior. I mean, bottom of the barrel scumbag type of guy, right? But it's like I have to show you how these deceivers work, so you brothers and sisters don't fall for this. And watch what it says. By claiming I got a revelation, no one told you this before. They position themselves as an enlightened teacher, even if the information is ignorant or dangerous. I want to feel more smarter than everyone else. That will be the motive. I want followers who believe I have secret knowledge. Yep. Number 3, internalized misogyny or dysfunctional views of family. This ideology is often rooted in patriarchal thinking, where only the father's bloodline matters, an ancient idea that devalues women's role in kinship. Now, we know that the father's blood is the DNA. We know that biblically. We know that the bloodlines are developed through the fathers. We know that, right? The scriptures show you that who begot who. Abraham begot this one, and that one. It's always through the man. So we know that bloodlines come through the man. That's a fact. Regardless of what ChatGPT is saying, I'm going to tell you it's correct, right? But you do have people who use the bloodline argument to devalue the woman's DNA, right? Number 2, it may also reflect the speaker's own unresolved trauma or resentment towards blended families, absent father, or family dysfunction. Motives. If we don't have the same dad, you're not really my family. My dad blood is what matters. It says justifying inappropriate desires or actions. Justifying inappropriate desires or actions. This is the most serious and alarming possibility. The speaker might be testing the waters to normalize or justify incestuous behavior, grooming, or sexual misconduct by framing it as technically not incest. Motives. If I say this enough times, maybe people will start to believe it's okay. And yes, he said it multiple times on multiple occasions. He said it multiple times on multiple occasions. And the crazy part is I didn't share those transcripts with ChatGPT. I did not share the transcripts where he said it multiple times, but I have the videos. I have all the proof and all the evidence. Number 5, ignorance. Some people really don't understand basic genetics or family structures. They think sharing a father matters more than sharing a mother because of outdated or misunderstood teachings. And see, if that was the case, why didn't he just come clean and repent and say, look, his teachings was outdated. They were misunderstood. I misquoted scripture. It wasn't a revelation. It was out of my own heart. I was wrong. Why couldn't he just publicly repent instead of trying to hide by deception? Instead of trying to claim he did not say these things or somebody else is slandering or manipulating him? Why not just come forth and say, I made a mistake. I didn't properly facilitate the word and I was wrong. He can't do that. RIP said, don't invite bro to the cookout. Hell nah, he ain't invited. He ain't invited. This weird nigga's not invited. It goes on to say, why this is dangerous. Same thing, y'all. Young people get confused, and you know, there becomes confusion among family. And the final thought that ChatGPT had on the dialogue that I shared was, whether for clout, ego, or deeper agenda, spreading misinformation and incest and family ties is reckless and irresponsible. It deserves to be challenged publicly, and in some cases reported to platforms or authorities depending on the content. If you want, I can help. Listen, we don't need none of that, right? It deserves to be challenged publicly, and that's what I'm doing. I agree. It needs to be challenged publicly. You all need to challenge this Ringo guy publicly. All his viewers need to challenge what he said publicly. And that's whole my whole take on it. I mean, this guy said a lot of inflammatory things. He continues to gaslight and play victim with his audience. But I'm hoping that you brothers and sisters, can really, bring this material to the light. Unfortunately, they're not really sending notifications out because, I guess when you do vertical streaming, they want to hide your regular content. So we're going to stay off of that and build stuff back up. We're going to stay off of that for a little while. We'll touch on that every now and then. I rather have my day ones on certain topics like this one, and certain topics when I need to address the masses, I'll go ahead and I'll do it there. But right now, we need to delineate. And I want to be clear. This person continues to harass me. This person has been harassing me for an entire year. I wanted to leave this alone. I wanted to leave this individual alone.
Other female.
Oh, my bad, y'all. But I wanted to leave the whole situation alone. And this person continues to duplicate titles of my videos. This person continues to gaslight. And look, we got to put this entity in his place, right? Ethnic, thank you for the support, says, hey, Nubreed. He also said he had ChatGPT watch your videos to evaluate the situation and said it can't watch or evaluate videos. It says ChatGPT said itself it can't watch videos and not even the latest version. Yeah, that's a liar. ChatGPT cannot watch videos. That idiot is a liar. He's a liar. He doesn't know nothing. He just learned how to use learned how to use AI, and now he believes he's more intelligent than everybody. We're talking about a complete imbecile. ChatGPT cannot watch your videos. That's a lie. I know how to use the AI. And the way he's using it is biased. And you know, it is what it is. Yep. Yeah, somebody said, you know, hey, look, and like I said, I want to leave this individual alone, but you know, when somebody is consistently copying everything you do, as the demon clone he is, he can't come up, you know, he just can't do what he do. He can't do his own thing, but y'all heard it, y'all. Let's just hear what he had to say about incest, because ChatGPT guessed a whole lot.
Is not even blood related to you.
Hold on.
Same father, you are not brothers and sisters. Don't get along. And I got a revelation for you just in case you don't know this. If you and your siblings don't share the same father, you are not brothers and sisters.
Now look at what a revelation is. An act of revealing or communicating divine truth, something that is revealed by God to humans. He claiming he got that nonsense from God. He lying on God. So you know, you look, this nigga lying on God, so you know he gonna lie on Nubreed. He lying on God, y'all. Let's go.
Uh-oh. 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 If you and your brother and sister, your siblings that came from your mom's womb, if y'all don't share the same father, you're not technically brothers and sisters. You're not. See, I don't know what anybody else taught you, but if you don't come from the same seed, you're not brothers and sisters. Basically, if you're, let me show you how sick this is and how serious this is.
Look, he know he's sick. Let me show you how sick this is. You're sick.
Spam at the same time. If your father, right, let's say your father impregnated your mom to have you, and then another man impregnated your mom and had a sister, technically, that other female is not even blood related to you, which means technically you can date that other person. Technically, that other female is not even blood related to you, which means technically you can date that other person. Oh yeah, that's how sick it is. But we think we brothers and sisters, not realizing that we not. The only way you can be brothers and sisters is if you have the same father. But if your mom got three to five baby daddies, then those sisters that you claim are your sisters are not your sisters, which pretty much mean you can go marry that other woman that's there.
Do y'all hear this nigga? He said you can marry your sister. You can pretty much marry your sister. He's trying to convince you that your sister ain't your sister. Now, mind you, ladies and gentlemen, we shared the transcripts. It's like, how is YouTube allowing this, man? This dangerous, deplorable type of material. How is this dude platform saying such things? What's wrong with this individual? Like, y'all heard what he said.
You can date that other person. Technically, that other female is not even blood related to you, which means technically you can date that other person. Oh yeah, that's how sick it is. But we think we brothers and sisters, not realizing that we not. The only way you can be brothers and sisters is if you have the same father. But if your mom got three to five baby daddies, then those sisters that you claim are your sisters are not your sisters, which pretty much mean you can go marry that other woman that's there. And this is what goes on in the black community. So don't tell me go marry that other woman that's there.
See, he knew how out of pocket he was. He couldn't even say your sister. He said the other woman that was there. I mean, look, y'all, the court of public opinion. What do y'all think? All I know is like, look, I don't want to have to keep going back and forth with this cat. I look, like I said, I'm minding my business. I'm doing what I'm doing, but this person has been harassing me, y'all. And it's like these type of conversations, they have to be on a public forum. They have to be challenged. You understand? Yeah. So, you know, at the end of the day, I just had to come through with this broadcast right here, man. And you know, after he got exposed, yeah, he definitely left the Hebrew community. So good riddance to him. But you know, don't stick around and keep trolling and watching everything I do and stealing, stealing titles. It's gotten to the point, ladies and gentlemen, it's gotten to the point where, you know, if I schedule a live stream, this man will go to the scheduled live stream, copy and paste my title, and try to go live while I'm going live. This is the kind of weird stuff this man is doing, bro. And at some point, you just got to put this devil back in his place. He's a devil. He's bottom of the barrel, and it's just too easy to expose this demon. Anyway, y'all know I got more material coming. And yeah, this has been going on for over a year now. This has been going on for over a year. This person is completely relentless and obsessed with my material. Completely obsessed with what I do. The man can't just move on with his life. Look, if this person leave me alone, I don't have nothing to say. I don't have nothing to say. It's up because people gonna do what they do. People gonna follow what they follow. People gonna watch what they watch. I don't support that stuff at all over there. I don't support none of that stuff this person is talking about. And I oblige y'all to do the same. Stand clear of these type of reprobated demonic people, man. You know, listen, this man has no intelligence. Stop letting this person make you believe he's in some type of moral authority. This dude is a damn clown. Like, it is what it is, y'all. I got more material coming. Y'all be blessed out there. Stay safe. Shalom and peace.